Now, just to kind of qualify myself, because I know a lot of you are probably asking, okay, you want to tell us about this. Hopefully you already know who I am, but just to give you a quick rundown, guys, I have over 4 million followers to date on all social media platforms, major ones anyway, not MySpace and Black Planet and all of those, but I have over 4.5 million followers now, actually. And I've been on CNN, Huffington Post, Ebony, Black Enterprise. I will be speaking at Essence Festival later on. Matter of fact, in a couple of weeks. It's my first time even going to Essence Fest, and I'm going to be center stage speaking. Now, why is that important? Not because of the clout and all of that good stuff, but because that speaks to the power of social media. Now, most importantly, more important than all that good stuff, any followers, likes, comments, and shares, because that's not what I did this for. Most importantly is the fact that I built multiple 6- and 7-figure streams of income using social media. And this is somebody that did not grow up with a silver spoon, didn't come from a long lineage of business owners, any of that. And the reason why I say this, guys, and you might hear me repeat this once or twice, I say it's the most important, not because money is everything, not because I have a heart from what I'm doing, but because, here's the thing, guys, if you get income from it, you're going to have a hard time reaching nearly as many people as you would have reached had you been able to create a system that reciprocates value back to you. So if I was just doing this on the nights and weekends, Charles, you're screaming. If I was just doing this on the nights and weekends, guys, it would be really difficult to reach nearly as many of you guys as I currently do. Actually, I would say most of you probably would have never heard of me had I not taken the leap to find out how to draw income from what I do. So, on to the next slide. One of the main questions I've always gotten is, hey, do you have, like a master's or doctorates in business? Do you have some kind of doctorate psychology degree? I want to let y'all know and really paint the picture of the decorated college graduate I was not. Just so y'all know, those of you who are not super studious and you didn't do all good and you didn't go to an Ivy League college, guess what? I did go to the Tuskegee University, but because I was an athlete, I slept in 90% of my classes. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. Now, I'm not saying that to brag about how you can get through college without putting in any work. I did put in work, but what I'm saying is you don't have to be a 4.0, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, I don't get rowdy, or anything else in order to achieve financial freedom. As a matter of fact, most of the people I borrow pens from, because I came to class unprepared, like they're not doing what I'm doing. And that's not, again, that's not to brag. I really want to speak to the fact that there's a different way to go about being successful. But real quick, let me kind of contextualize why I took the leap to begin with. Next slide. In 2012, I graduated Tuskegee University. I became a corporate American relationship blogger, meaning I had a day job in corporate America, but relationship blogging is what I did on the side, right? Now, it was cool for like the first 4 or 5 days of it because I had a job. I was so happy. And if you look over there on the right, hold on, can you move my screen a little bit? They can't see my caption. Is there any way to move my screen? That picture there on the right side, me in the blue shirt, we're gonna try to get you guys to be able to see it, but the caption says, "Good day at work. I love my job." Type down in the chat if you've ever lied about loving your job whenever you posted on social media, when deep down you really didn't love it. Bag time, getting money, out here working, putting it in. Put down in the chat if that's ever been you, because if you look in my eyes, you can see I am not happy to be there. In fact, I wish somebody would rescue me. At that point, that was probably like a week into it. This was July 12, 2012. About a week into my job, I was miserable. I was uninspired. I was homesick. This is the first time I had been away from home, 14 hours away, where I was actually living there. And then I remember one of the worst times for me was Sunday nights. The night before I got ready to start my work week, I remember panic attacks. I remember shortness of breath. I thought I had insomnia, like I literally just could not sleep. Like it was, I don't know, it just felt like it was just crushing to me to have to go back to work again. And on top of that, because most people will say, well, at least you're making money. Well, I made okay money, just enough money to pay my bills and then go get some kind of drink, go to some kind of party, do something to help me cope with the fact I was unhappy about how I paid my bills. Next slide. So this was my thing. This is whenever I said I gotta make a move. I wanted to get back home closer to my family, near Alabama. A year before I graduated college, there was a health scare that put things in perspective where it just like, I don't know if anybody else has ever had that, where your family member goes through something, My mom, she had a diagnosis that made me realize like, hey, tomorrow really is not promised. So my whole priority shifted, and whenever I graduated college, initially I was cool with being away from home, but now that was my number one focus. However, as a newbie in the corporate culture, you can't just move whenever you say, hey guys, I miss my mom. Not only miss my mom, there's been things that have happened that make me want to really be close to her. Let me go. They don't care. You're trapped. Once they fill that position, they fill that position. And then whenever I look at all the tenured employees, it looked like The Walking Dead. So I made up in my mind, I'll stay a couple of years, get some tenure, then go get another job or get a transfer. Couldn't just jump off without 10 years of experience at that time. You know, people really don't care about no bachelor's degree. The work world don't care about a bachelor's degree. You might as well have a 6th grade diploma with a bachelor's degree these days. Just keep it real. But on top of me not being very happy with my job and missing my mom and feeling trapped, news came down the pipeline that there would be major layoffs. And guess who they're about to start laying off first? People like the new ones, people like the recent college grads. So how does this apply to any of you out here? Type down in the chat, I. Type down in the chat, I, if you've ever dealt with this on the next slide. The job I worked was draining me. It was stressing me. It was paying me just enough to remain dependent on it. Has anybody else been there? I want to know down in the chat. Anybody else been there? Type I in the chat if you've ever been in that situation. Secondly, I had no idea where to start. Again, I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs and groundbreakers and millionaires and all of that kind of stuff. I had nowhere to start. If I wanted to do something different in entrepreneurship, I had not the slightest clue. Type down in the chat if that's you. Let me know. Can't just be me. Let me know who I'm talking to in here. Okay, I see some eyes. Thirdly, I did not have a lot of money to spare, mainly because of my budgeting. But at the end of the day, there was no trust fund. There was no $100,000. I actually became friends with a guy who worked in the company, and his dad was like one of the founders of the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund, something like that. This kid came in 6 figures heavy. I didn't have that. Type I if you don't come from a lot of money, if you don't currently have a lot of money to spare. And lastly, even the thought of entrepreneurship after being taught I had to get a job my entire life, it scared the hell out of me. And I had a hard time getting past that. Next slide. So, the financial freedom blueprint. These are the main 3 pillars we're going to go over today. So that whatever it is that you do, whatever it is you want to do, you'll be able to do successfully. This is what I've come to find have been the secrets to financial freedom. First off, mindset shift. Our entire lives, we were taught something about money, likely passed down from generations of miseducation around money. In order to become financially free, you have to not only unlearn those things, but make an intentional effort on what you have to learn in order to prime your mindset for success. So that's the first thing. Secondly, how to start with 0 money. I put it in one of the emails. Some of y'all didn't read all of them. But the misconception is that you have to have $1 million, $2 million, a business loan, $100,000, $10,000 or $5,000. You don't have to have money in order to get started. That's often the hardest part for people. You just need to find somebody with a need, find a way to fill it, and fill it so well they're willing to refer you to somebody else. We'll get more into depth with that in a minute. And thirdly, because honestly, those 2 right there are big, but these days, I'm seeing something heavily underutilized. And that's what I have come to know as the ultimate cheat code to entrepreneurship. The moment I discovered this one secret, everything took off. Next slide. So let's start with the mindset shift. Getting over the fear. This is going to be a great place, guys, for you to take screenshots, to write something down. If you got a pen on you, this is a great place to start writing that down. When it comes to getting over fear, first understand what fear is. Fear is bred in pessimism. Pessimism is the breeding ground for fear, doubt. Everything is going to wreck the moment that I touch it. Nothing's going to go right. Nobody's going to support me. And typically the biggest points of fear is the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, the fear of going broke, and the fear of drug dealing. I'm just saying drug dealing because that's one of the alternatives that I consider. I knew I wasn't built like that, but nevertheless, fear of going to a stripper pole or whatever. Like, hey, I can't live an illegal life, so I got to figure this thing out. Next slide. So at the time I started kind of entertaining entrepreneurship, and I'm a relationship blogger is the only other thing I'm even kind of good at, I started searching out people that already had done what I was trying to do. So naturally, what do we all do whenever we want to find out something? We go to Google. And I Googled young black dude who blogs about relationships and made it. Like, I want to know who has the keys. Like, if you want to go anywhere, you probably got to get a GPS. You got to get directions in order to reach that destination, right? So I went on Google and I looked up, like, is there anybody else already doing it? How can I follow in that person's footsteps? Are they teaching people, etc.? And I came across, next slide, a brother by the name of Carrack Brunson. And this gentleman, to this day, is still a personal mentor of mine. Actually, funny enough, I've known Paul since 2012, and I literally just met him probably a month ago in DC. Great guy. I don't know how many of you guys know Paul. Let me know in the chat if you know Paul. Say yes if you know Paul Brunson, if you've heard of Paul Brunson. For everybody else, let me give you a rundown. Carrack Brunson is a matchmaker, one of the leading matchmakers in the world, not in America. He's actually not even in America right now. And he's not a guy who used to be popping way back in the day. He currently has one of the top 3 highest rated shows in the UK. Top 3 highest rated reality shows, should I say, in the UK. He was popping back then, and he's popping right now. He's worked for 2 billionaires. So whenever I looked up black dude who relationship blogs, he came up, and also a link to what he used to do, which is called Mentorship Mondays, meaning every Monday he took about 40 to 50 people and he just gave them game on life. Never heard of anything like it, but I tuned in on that following Monday. So he so happened to be talking about his story, and I remember putting down in the comments, Paul, like, the biggest thing I'm dealing with right now is fear. How did you get over that? So he didn't answer me immediately. We're gonna go to the next slide pretty soon. He didn't answer me immediately. But what he did do was he followed up. Now, this is Paul, big time Paul, working for billionaires. He followed up in my inbox and he answered me. Hey D, I saw that you had a question about how to get over fear. This is me at a point when I didn't even have 3,000 followers, y'all. I wasn't going viral. This is 2012, still working corporate America. Nobody, just call it what it is in terms of who he could have spoken to. This really speaks to his humility. And I need you guys to write this down, screenshot this, however it is that you're taking notes. If you are dealing with fear, if you are dealing with the problem of trying to get out of your own way in order to become successful or start on what it is that you're even curious about, 2 things that he gave me. The first one is exposure. This is how you get over your fear. Exposure, networking, books, masterminds. Like, what kind of energy are you allowing to permeate into you? I know this sounds like kind of top level and theoretical. It's really not. Think about whenever you go to McDonald's. Think about whenever you go to McDonald's, you ask the young lady or the cat, whoever it is at the drive-through window for extra sauce, and she gives you an attitude. What happens? If not for the rest of the day, for that moment, it fucks up your energy. You in a bad headspace. You almost got an attitude because somebody else caught an attitude with you. And throughout the day, a lot of times we were never taught to be intentional about who has access to our energy. But the first thing he let me know is, if you have a problem with fear, you're likely around energy that constantly projects limitations on you. You need to get around some doers. You need to get around some trailblazers. And if you can't get around them physically, there are workarounds like books, like podcasts, like videos. But if you can, do so. Now, I happen to have stayed in a very small town, a town called Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I don't know how many of y'all know about Rocky Mount, North Carolina, but It's the place where dreams go to die. So there wasn't a whole lot of masterminding and networking that I was going to do. But I did latch on to the books. The second thing that he gave me, and actually he gave me this, and he said he got this directly from Oprah herself, was action. If you want to beat that fear, this is a tangible, practical step to take. Action. Do it scared. He told me straight up, it's going to be bad whenever you first start. That website, that first video, that first podcast, that first dress that you make, that first cake that you bake is going to be trash. Take that trash first step and improve over time. Like, nobody comes out polished. I don't care who's the best in the world. Serena Williams, LeBron James, Steph Curry. I guarantee you Steph Curry's first shot he didn't make. Granted, he probably took that shot at like 6 months. But at the end of the day, the concept is this. You're going to be bad at whatever it is that you start out doing. The problem is we allow our ego to get in the way. We don't want anybody to see us in that embarrassing phase, in that embarrassing season of trying to get things on point. And fear is the ego trying not to die. Action. Action is how you kill it. So, one of my biggest fears, because I was like, okay, thank you. I'm eternally grateful. The fact that he even took out time to talk to a nobody, in a sense. One of my biggest fears was public speaking. Yet, that's what he had done in order to start monetizing his content and his brand. Now, this is a fact. Most people fear public speaking more than death. More than death. But matter of fact, am I the only one? Somebody put down in the chat. Am I the only one that fears public speaking? Put I if you fear public speaking too. Because guess what? At that time, most people was I. I was most people. I fear public speaking. Man, look, let me tell y'all a quick story. It trips me out thinking about it every time. But Paul said act, right? Paul said act. Okay, cool. I went on my page. My page at this time probably had about 6,000 followers. So I'm buzzing now. I'm the biggest thing in the world. I'm basically a Kardashian. I put up on my page, hey guys, I'm open for bookings. I'm ready to come speak at whatever event that you got. Hit me up. This is my email, da-da-da-da. A woman responded. She said, hey, I'm interested. I follow your page. I like your message. I'd like to book you. What's your fee? So I told her, $500. Never stepped foot on the stage before, but you know what? I was believing in myself. She responded back, I'll give you $150. How's that? I said, sold. Look, whenever I get there, I do my thing, I'm gonna smash, and guess what? I'm gonna kill it. And then after that, I can charge $2,000, $5,000. It's off to the races. I'm basically Les Brown in this thing after I get started. So I mapped out a 45-minute keynote speech, drove all the way down to Alabama, back close to home, Montgomery, Alabama. Got there, about 50 people in the room. And y'all, I went through my 45-minute, fully prepared, overly rehearsed keynote speech in approximately 5 minutes and 38 seconds. I had stage fright so bad, memory blocks. I went blank. I couldn't think of the next thing to say. I was up there sweating. I played like I had to use the bathroom, ran out to the bathroom like I had a bad bladder. It was that bad. Came back and just did Q&A. It was horrible. It was horrible. But I took Paul's advice and just acted. Now, here's the thing, because I did get my money. I did get my $150. I made up in my mind right then, I would not be going on anybody else's stage, even accepting money, if I couldn't really deliver a solid presentation. So it was going to take me some time to get that. Well, what was the next thing for a relationship blogger to do if you wanted to monetize? Definitely books. On the next slide. Definitely books. And I came to find out really quickly that books are nothing like blogs, because you have to put something together over a series of months that people are going to consume in 1 hour, maybe 2. And then on top of that, I realized quickly I had the attention span of a goldfish. But I did it anyway. Paul said, do it trash, okay? I'm dealing with fear. I'm dealing with fear of rejection. People are not going to support this. Next slide. So I did it anyway. And in 2013, November 25th was the date, actually, I published my very first book called A Cheating Man's Heart. Some of y'all may remember that book. I published A Cheating Man's Heart. And I sold a groundbreaking, whopping 14 copies the first week. Now, that first half of the stack, I remember taking this picture and looking like, yo, I made it. I'm in the game. I can't remember. I think it was like 140 bucks I had netted that week, that first week. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the game, man. I'm basically Martha Stewart in this thing. I was gassed up, but my light bill wasn't, long story short. I just want to give y'all kind of a picture of how it was whenever I first started, for people who just came across me when I've been reaching to millions of people. And I realized something in this process, because I was like, well, you know, maybe I'm just not that good at selling. Again, I'm trash, right? Like, I understand this is my season of being trash. But the problem was, and the fear was, when it came to selling, it wasn't so much being trash at selling. It wasn't so much being fearful that people wouldn't like love my book. It was a fear of how people were going to feel about me for even trying to sell it. And a lot of people have this aversion to selling. They create something, especially whenever your heart is in it, because it's personal to you. They have a fear of going out and asking other people to like it, understand it, and consume it, and then support it. It's scary because it's going to hurt your feelings if they don't. So I realized that. I realized the problem wasn't with creating it. The problem was that I just didn't have the tools and tricks and strategies. The problem was the social aspect. I don't want to be that guy nagging people to buy my book. And then I don't want to be the guy that, oh, you're just doing this for money, just trying to sell something all the time. Next slide. So once I understood my fear, it allowed me a lot more power over that fear. And this is where some of you guys are at as well. You ever heard somebody say, you always trying to sell something. That's all you want to do is sell something. Anybody else ever heard somebody say that? Y'all ever heard somebody, oh look, another person trying to sell something. Anybody else ever heard somebody say that? Those voices haunted me. One thing I noticed about those voices, they usually came from broke people. They usually came from broke people. This is another very tactical point now, because what you have to do is put all of this in a whole new perspective. Too many times we let whatever that recurring story is sound like truth, and we treat it like truth when really it's based in bullshit. And I'm gonna tell y'all how. Always trying to sell something. That comes from people who don't understand money. They don't understand how valuable and how needed sales is for this world to keep turning. That's just what it is. And we've always allowed this kind of negative connotation of sales to be shiesty, to, slick, connotation of, just sneaky car salesmen to be attached to sales. And we see people who give freely, which I'm all for, by the way, giving freely. We see that, and that's painted as the only right way to be. When I absolutely do believe in giving freely, but I more so believe in giving responsibly. Because unfortunately, we're not infinite creatures. We have a finite resource of energy, of money. Like in a relationship, it's great to give somebody your love. But y'all tell me down in the chat, if it's a one-way street of you giving everything, love, time, attention, whatever, if it's a one-way street and that's the only way it is, what eventually happens? What eventually happens? Tell me down in the chat, what eventually happens? Because it's the same thing when it comes to sales. If you keep pouring and you don't create a system that at least on some level pours back into you, what happens? Your cup goes empty. You burn out. Not just on a personal level burn out, but you can't give to anybody else. The same thing goes with sales. You can't have a restaurant that's going to last very long if all you do is give all your food away. You give some to the needy, some to the, less fortunate or whatnot, but you got to make some sales. Now, again, I'm really wanting to just kill this aversion to sales. And if that don't do it, we'll go to the next slide. If that doesn't do it, this got to do it. I mean, if you just need more proof that sales is a good thing, I got two. I present to you exhibit A and B, wine and toothpaste. Where would the world be without wine? And where would the world be without toothpaste? I'm just having fun with it, y'all. Essentially what I'm saying is the most important thing, and this is why I said this was the most important about why I did what I did. If I didn't create a system if I didn't create a system that allowed for some level of exchange, I would not be able to live out my full purpose. A lot of you guys out there, you have something that you want to do, but you want to do it for everybody free. You're afraid of the family member. You're afraid of the friend that's going to frown up at you because you dare say a price, because you dare know your value and are willing to charge what you're worth. Either that, or you don't even want to go out and sell what you got going on. You just want to create it in silence. Call it a hobby. It ain't even all that serious to me. The next slide is going to show you exactly what happens whenever you do conquer that fear. When you challenge that story, when you challenge that narrative that so many of us who don't come from money, who don't come from a sales background or have anybody else who's familiar with it, this is what happens whenever you finally decide to conquer that fear. From November to 2013 to 2 years later, December 2015, just over 2 years later, you see the difference was drastic. I didn't get a cosign from Eric Jerome Dickey or Oprah. I didn't get a feature on Wendy Williams. I didn't get any of that. I got over my fear of how people were going to look at me for trying to expand, for working my ass off on something and having the audacity to let people know about it. Matter of fact, I would go so far as to say it like this. If you have a product that could potentially change lives, I don't care what it is that you do. If you have something that could help people, change lives, make a major impact, you not only have the right to let people know, as many people as possible, know about your product and sell it and charge for it, you have the ethical obligation. You are being unethical by giving it away to just anybody without any regard for yourself. It sounds selfless, but you're thinking short term. You're leaving all those people hanging who could profit, who could benefit, who could use your message, whatever it is that you're passionate about. You're leaving them hanging because in the short term, you don't want people to look at you like you're a bad person. You're thinking about you. The most selfish thing you can do is actually give everything away for free and just, without regard, or just hold back and not want to sell it and promote it. Next slide. So let's keep moving. After I conquered my fear of selling, after I got over that, I realized something. A lot of people in their advertisements were really lazy. What you're seeing here on this graph was my very first 6-figure month. So in this time, I'm moving the books. I've actually added t-shirts and I'm killing it. And I'm going to tell you, this is one of the times you probably want to pull out your pen. This is something even my competitors still to this day do not know. My approach to selling is unique, and so unique that it works over and over again. And I call it value on value, derivative of old song called Racks on Racks. I don't know how many of y'all ever heard that song, Racks on Racks on Racks. VOV, value on value. What that means is value before the sale. The one thing I have been doing right is the entire time I have been doing what I loved. I loved relationship blogging. I loved helping lead people away from toxic relationships. So I had been building a relationship the entire time before I ever said, hey, this is how you can also invest in me. Value after. We all know that you got to deliver the product that you said that you're going to deliver. We all know that, if you say you're going to give them a great book and you don't give them a great book, they're going to leave a bad review and they're never going to shop with you again. The missing piece is that a lot of people didn't integrate the value into their pitch, into their advertisement. Again, make sure that you take this down. So some of you may have seen my card game and you see the cartoons. Some of you may have seen my advertisements for my books, and by itself, that message can stand alone. Matter of fact, several of them have gone viral. But so many people just think they can put up a flyer or put up a screenshot of their website and that's it. On every level, you have to integrate content, you have to integrate value into your entire selling process. That's how I went from 14 books in a week to, what was it, at my peak, about 10,000 a month at that time. Value on value. Before, during, and after the sale, you have to find creative ways, different ways to put in content. Matter of fact, if you can't build an Instagram or have an ebook with just the advertisements and have people follow that and still get their life changed, you're doing something wrong with your advertising. A lot of you guys are still just thinking, just put up a cool flyer, get a graphic design, let me make sure my logo is awesome, but you're not putting any value into the actual pitch. Now, next slide. Let's cap up this fear here, because one thing that I've come to understand about fear, on top of what Paul had already taught me, was that whenever you dominate your fear of anything, you don't necessarily do away with it to a point it no longer exists. Honestly, if you're looking outside of your comfort zone, there's going to be some level of fear. So I want you guys to have a healthy understanding. I just want to set the expectation out on the outset. I still get scared when I'm getting ready to do something I've never done before. I still get scared. But whenever you change your relationship with fear, you go from the way that normal people see it, which is fear being a red light. Fear is just, being realistic. It's your awareness of reality. Fear is the key to being safe. You got to make sure that you're fearful. Like, if you're fearful, it's okay because you're just being safe. And you got to start thinking like an achiever. You and I, we are achievers. When we feel fear, when it comes to this business thing, we got to start seeing it as our cue to act. To not a red light, but our cue to floor it. Pedal to the metal. When we feel fear, we have to understand that's not us thinking about reality. That's us being introduced to possibility. As a matter of fact, that's how we see it in the beginning. Like, reality for most people is the circumstances as they currently are. Everybody looks at what they currently know or don't know. What contacts and network they currently do or do not have. What money they do or do not have. That's the reality for most people. Achievers, when it comes to our perception of reality, we're strictly looking at what it is we want and what the process is to get there. Because we understand that we're ever evolving, right? And we also understand that letting that fear cripple us whenever we get scared of going up on that stage, when we get scared of launching that first website, when we get scared of making that introduction to somebody that could possibly help us, we got to understand and we identify fear as the key to regret. So, let me see who's still in here. I already know it's the few, the proud, and not the many. We're going to do a real quick 60-second blessing break. We're going to do a real quick 60-second blessing break. So, I need somebody in the same format now. In the same format. You put your answer, you put a slash or whatever it is to divide it, and then you put your Cash App, your PayPal, your Venmo, or whatever it is way that I can send you money. What was the date of the publication of my first book? I want to see who was listening. What was the date? I'm talking day, the month, and the year, because I gave that out. We're going to see. This is kind of hard. What was the date, the publication of my first book? You going to the next slide already? To the blue and green? Okay. What was the date? I'm looking. Damn, hold on. J. Alex is fast. Okay. J. Alex, congratulations. All right, we're going to make sure this one's right. Let me see. Hold on. Let me try this last Cash App I did one more time. Yep. All right, Whitney, I got you right from earlier. I ain't forget about you. So this one is going to be a $250 one, okay? But first, let me prove that I'm not out here just capping. Whitney, I got you right, okay? So that's your prize from earlier. Now, let me get to the Judy J. Let me get you right, Judy J. Judy J won it. It was November 25th, 2013. Damn, y'all would kill me in some doggone trivia. Let me get you right. Judy J. Judell Alexander. Another winner. Another winner. Y'all enjoying this so far? If y'all getting anything out of this so far? Anybody who's been dealing with fear of chasing their dreams, anybody getting anything out of this? By the way, Judy, I don't know if you can see this. I don't know how. Let me know down in the chat. Are y'all getting anything out of this so far? Unable to play video, tap to reload. That's just my phone because I went out of it. Yes, cool. That's the most important part. That's the most important part. I got to make sure that you guys are getting something out of this. We didn't go through hell and back to continue this thing for nothing. All right, so we're back. 60-second blessing break is up. All right. So this next slide that I'm about to go to right now. This next slide is the part of people's story that I don't normally see entrepreneurs show. They'll show the new Bugatti, the new Rolls Royce, Range Rover. They'll show you the pools in the backyard. They'll show you the private jets, but they don't show you this part. And this is what almost broke me because I didn't know that this could happen. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Because we're getting on into that second point, the whole starting with no money thing. Because I did start with a corporate job, right? So I understand people say, well, you probably had some good money, corporate America. Let me tell you about whenever I had to restart with no money. What you're looking at is 6 months after me making, actually that screenshot showed you $207,000 in a month, which was really over 200, like it was really over $250,000 total, all my screenshots, but I ain't put them in there. 6 months later, y'all, I was just under $14,000, and that was actually it for the month. Now, some people may say, well, that's still really good money. You got to understand this. I was spending advertising. This was with material costs being subtracted. This was with shipping and handling being subtracted. I was plummeting, and I was plummeting fast. Why? Because my selling approach was working so damn well that whenever I came across an issue with shipping and handling, meaning my packages were not being delivered for whatever reason, I could not figure it out, I would literally go, y'all. I remember personally shipping out packages, putting my eyes on it, because people said, hey, reship mine, I didn't get it. Putting my eyes on the package, shipping it out, and that same person saying, my bag came empty, my package came empty. Packages were not getting delivered. At this point, I'm shipping out thousands. Me and my little trusty team, we still shipping out the house. Thousands of packages a month. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them are either just vanishing or they're showing up empty. Didn't know what was going on, but was not prepared for this crisis. One, I didn't have enough customer service help. And when people can't get in touch with customer service, guess what they do? They go start doing chargebacks. They start filing disputes. And those of you who have never dealt with PayPal, I'm gonna put you on to something. PayPal will freeze your money. And I had kept quite a bit in PayPal. That's where I ran all of my shipping and handling from. But as I'm trying to re-up and, get money and replace the items that I know I shipped out already, PayPal froze $82,000. $82,000 of operational funds, PayPal froze. So I had to go completely out of stock on my hottest selling items. At this point, now I'm not making any money. I'm plummeting again. Now, real quick, because there's a screenshot on the bottom left. This actually, let me see when that was published, May 13th or something like that. This is a brand new development. And for years, I didn't understand why the packages were not getting shipped. I thought they were getting stolen from USPS. It turns out in 2014, 83 million packages, you can Google this, 83 million packages shipped through USPS did not make it successfully to its destination. In 2014 alone, it went to a mail recovery center where they get to sell these packages for profit if they don't make it. Google it, Google it. This is not something I'm making up. And what I'm getting at here is there will be things in your entrepreneurial journey you cannot control that will not be your fault, and you still gonna have to pay for that mistake, because it's something I need people to understand. When you come across those obstacles, you gotta understand, like, this is a part of it. Some things you're not gonna be able to control. Tonight, we had, hella technical difficulties. Could not control it. So in that moment, let me bring it back, because I know some of y'all are in this situation. I really wanna help you guys. Didn't know what was going on. Packages not getting delivered. I'm doing my best. I'm short-handed. I'm getting roasted. And on top of that, the woman that is now my wife, she was my girl at the time, she's pregnant. And because of complications with her pregnancy in the beginning, she no longer had a day job. So it was all on me. All of this is happening while she's pregnant. And let me just paint the picture for those of you who have ever been discouraged in your entrepreneurial journey in just working your day job. Matter of fact, let me know if I'm alone or not. Put I, if you've ever felt like somebody was trying to break you while simply trying to achieve and go higher in life. Put I down in the chat. Put I want to make sure. Jessica McDonald says one after another. Yes. Put I, if you've ever been there to damn near your breaking point. So, at this point, because I am going viral, I stand to go viral for the wrong reason now. If y'all haven't noticed yet, the moment you start talking about respecting women, respecting yourself really, because that's the only way that you can respect a woman, it draws quite a bit of critique. It can earn you some enemies. There are people out there that do not think very fondly of Derrick Jackson. So here I am letting down my most faithful supporters, which hurt more than anything. And then anytime that you have an issue, your enemies do something. They make those failures as loud as possible. So now YouTube videos, Facebook videos are popping up about how Derrick is not taking care of the people who are out to support him. Derrick is a bad person. So don't support him. Now checks are bouncing. Now I'm not sure if I can pay my rent. I'm trading off bills that I can pay. Y'all talking about not having no money? I know what that feels like. And just a quick story, and this is kind of hard for me to tell, so bear with me, guys. I was making a video. Some of you may remember whenever I first started, I started with Snapchat, 10-second videos and all that kind of stuff, and I strung them together. I was in my truck making a video because I'm trying to just keep on pushing. In the middle of making my video, my girl calls me and tells me that she's on the way to the hospital. And I said, okay, like, you know, you're 6 months pregnant at this point. Like, what's going on? You're going to early labor? What's going on? And she tells me she's on the way to the hospital, and she's crying, by the way, because the baby hasn't moved in 36 hours. She's tried drinking ice water. She's tried laying on her side. She's tried everything you can Google, everything her doctor has told her, and the baby has not moved in 36 hours. So she's going to the hospital to see what's going on. She's scared. Now I'm scared. Trying not to show that I'm scared because y'all know I'm the man. Man got to be strong. This woman's pregnant. She's relying on me to be the stability in this situation. Got to the hospital and found out it was because of stress. It was because of stress she couldn't keep her food down. It was because of stress she couldn't get any sleep at night. Therefore, the baby wasn't getting any nutrients. Of course, they got her the nutrients, they got everything, and everything worked out fine. But I remember in that moment feeling more shame and guilt than I ever thought I would ever feel. I mean, here I am, the man in the situation. And I'm failing my family as the provider I told them I would be. I told her she could have confidence in me as a man, and I was failing her. And I remember talking to God, you know, and I'm not the most religious person, but I've always been a God-fearing man. And I remember asking him, like, with all this going on, why are you trying to break me? Not to be disrespectful, but I just had to keep it real with him. Like, why are you trying to break me? I don't do people wrong. I don't scam people. I don't hurt people. I'm not cheating. I'm not living a double life. What karma? What did I do to earn this? Why are you trying to break me? And I remember him saying, son, I'm not trying to break you. I'm trying to strengthen you so that when people hear your story, there's no doubt about who's within you that helped you make it through. And I'm in the hospital, y'all. I'm just going through thoughts in my mind, trying to distract myself. And I come across a video by a name of Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. He had a very famous video called he had a very famous quote, when you want to be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Are we back? I see the picture went out for a second. He had a quote that said, when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I remember at that point when I was really still at my breaking point, I heard God loud and clear, but I mean, my spirit is in shambles. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to be successful as bad as I want to breathe. I'm just not a big enough deal to myself where I care that much about me. But I do want to be successful as bad as I want my daughter to breathe. And I refuse to bring her into a situation that she didn't choose to be in, that's not fit for her, that's not fit for my princess. I refuse to let my woman down. If it's humanly possible, I'm going to find a way to get through this. So right then, I made up my mind that I would not give up. I looked at ways I was getting in my own way, and one of those ways was that I never made a concerted effort to go out and ask people for help. I always felt like, you know what? If they want to help me, they'll help me. Maybe I'll throw a comment here and there, very passive aggressive, but I never wanted to just go out and be the person saying, hey, please help me. At this point, it wasn't about me anymore. I figured I got to find somebody who's been in this situation, somebody that can help me. I got to go get this right. So I went knocking on doors. Next slide. I went knocking on doors, so to speak. I went in inboxes. You on the next slide? With the young lady? I went in inboxes. I went in comment sections. I went in DMs. I went emailing. Nobody responded back, but there was one woman by the name of Arsha Jones. I don't know how many of y'all know Arsha Jones. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever heard of Arsha Jones. She had already requested for me and her to do an interview. Arsha Jones so happened to have a similar business to mine. She didn't have books, but she did have shirts called Tees in the Trap, right? And just to give you some background around Arsha Jones, Arsha was a mom and a wife. She at first had a condiment business. She has a sauce called Mambo sauce, very popular in the DC area, but it wasn't really taking off. She didn't have any funds, no money, to start it. So what she did was she went over to social media, in which she wasn't a big social media person, wasn't going viral, anything like that. But because of this one really cool new tool called Facebook ads, she was able to leverage that. Hold on, let me see, where we at? Went out, my app keeps closing. Can't see the comments right now, but we're gonna keep going. She leveraged Facebook ads to launch a t-shirt line, Tees in the Trap, and that eventually became a 7-figure business. And with that, she used those funds to pour back into her Mambo sauce, and now she's in stores all over the country. She has been in Huffington Post. She has done TED Talks. And one thing I love about Arsha is she just kept it all the way real with me. She told me straight up, nobody's going to save you. Matter of fact, I don't know how many of y'all can see the title to that video. That's literally her TED Talk. She told me that straight up. Nobody's going to save you, honey. If you want to get off the ground, if you want to turn things around, you need to come, one, join my Facebook group where I give out all of these secrets and all that good stuff. She had a Facebook group at the time. It's kind of changed since then. But come join my Facebook group, and you need to invest in my course on how to run Facebook ads if you want to get out of there. Now, at this point, I probably had about $800 of disposable income. So I decided I was going to spend whatever she told me I needed to spend in order to learn Facebook ads, if that's how she was able to get her business off the ground. Because she was telling me about multiple streams of income and how Facebook ads could allow you to have these multiple streams growing simultaneously. So I made the $200 investment. And that was one of the game changers as well, because at this point I couldn't post on my page anymore about my products and services without people filling up the comments, rightfully so, being pissed off that they still had not gotten their product, that they had to go and get a refund or whatever the case was. So I was being crippled by not only having my stuff out of stock, but by the fact I could not use my timeline anymore. I needed another way to promote. Facebook ads was the way to do it. And this group, man, getting around those other women that were killing it, stay-at-home moms, single moms, some guys and stuff like that, but it was really made for women. It showed me how powerful it was to understand what your target audience is, understanding income, sex, age, interest, etc. It was the single most effective way to promote my product at the time, and honestly, to date, I still think it's the single most effective way. It used to be where you had to put a billboard up or put a car magnet on your joint to let people know what you had going on. Facebook ads, for those who don't know, Facebook ads is like having a team of salesmen that work 24/7, 365, and they take your product or your service and they put it in front of people who have a need for that product or that service. They put it in front of people who have already clicked on something similar to what you provide, who have already expressed through their statuses. I mean, Facebook ads, honestly, if you ever thought that Facebook ads was probably compromising your security, you're probably right. They know what you're messaging. They know what websites you go to. They collect all that data. Now, that's bad if you out here sending nudes and, any kind of personal information, but it can be very useful to you if you want to put your products and services in front of the right people. And the coolest thing about it, you don't need a lot of money to start. So The whole you don't need money thing, this is where this comes in. For those of you with limited cash, you only need $5 to be able to test something. And I advise you to test everything. This is one of the keys here, okay? Write this down or whatever. Test everything. Back to the whole fear. A lot of people are so fearful to get started or try something because they feel like it has to be a home run on the very first try. Chances are it's not going to be. Chances are you're going to strike out a couple of times. But test everything. And then with Facebook ads, you're able to narrow down to only what works. And guess what? You do not have to have a huge following in order to make money through Facebook ads. Next slide. So, what's one of the key elements to making Facebook ads work? Again, back to the whole target audience, understanding your target audience. Really, this isn't just Facebook ads. This is really just sales in general. If you don't already have, and I think you should start with this before you even start with a product, honestly. You need to start with understanding who your customer is through and through. Your customer, your follower, who is it that's going to find value in what you do? These are some of the questions I asked myself in order to better define my target audience. And this is something, again, write this down. This is free game, y'all. This is free game. This is how you can know. This is how you make sure whenever you put something out, it has the absolute best chance of converting. Did it get hot in here all of a sudden? What shows do they watch? If they watch, chances are, if you're appealing to, say, the 18 to 25-year-old young black girl, she probably watches some Love and Hip Hop. If you're appealing to a little bit older demographic, let's say 45 and up, 35 to 45, you could probably find them watching Steve Harvey show, Ayanla, something like that. If you like, the ratchets or whatnot, straight reality TV. I'm just telling you, know what shows they watch because Facebook allows you to target based on that. Definitely age range. And I say choose the age range that likes to spend a little money. Again, this is about making sure you create a system where value is reciprocated so you can really do this on a large scale and quit your job and not have all your eggs in one basket. I hope you know whether or not you're talking about men or women. Okay? Who else do they follow? Who else is already killing it? If they're verified on Facebook, that will allow them to be an interest. Again, anybody who's run, first off, by show of emoji hands, who's run a Facebook ad before? I just want to see if we have anybody who's even somewhat familiar with Facebook ads. By show of emoji hands, who's run a Facebook ad before here in the chat? Anybody? And if you have not, say not I. I want to get an idea. Who's actually run a Facebook ad? Put your hand in the air. If not you, say not I. Those of you already kind of familiar with Facebook ads, I've seen people just promote, try to get in front of a lot of people. Not I? Good. So we got some people who don't know anything about it. This is going to be something extremely helpful to you. Screenshot this, write this down. This is my own little rubric. There's probably a few more questions you can add to this, but as far as the main ones to start really seeing conversions, a lot of people are not able to sell their products because they're putting fishing poles in front of the next LeBron James. They're putting the wrong products in front, the right products in front of the wrong person. I don't care how awesome it is, what you have going on. If you get in front of the wrong person, it don't matter. A person can promote maxi pads to me till they're blue in the face. I don't care how magical they are. I don't care if they prevent you from sweating and leaking and whatever else maxi pads do. I'm not your customer. And some people lose faith in their product or their service because they're simply putting it in front of the wrong people. Also, where do they live? What problems are they facing? The bigger problem you can solve, the more money you're going to make whenever you can effectively solve that problem. The bigger problem you can solve, if you solve a problem that's just kind of, people don't really care, it's nice, you're going to make that kind of money, just straight up. But if you can solve a problem that has a really serious pain point, you stand to make a lot of money. And you should, because you're making a big difference in people's lives. So at this point, back to my kind of personal story. At this point, I've developed a way to be able to sell my t-shirts without me actually doing the shipping and handling. That takes out the product cost. That takes out the shipping and handling responsibilities. That allows, it's on teespring.com, by the way. For those who have zero money, but you have some kind of design or some kind of idea or concept for a shirt, teespring.com. That's where I started off. Okay? Or as far as like after I started. That's how I got back started with zero money. Teespring.com. Somebody can even put that in the chat. Teespring.com and being able to promote that through my Facebook ads allowed me to get money going back into my business so I could refund everybody and I could get back advertising costs, shipping costs in order to sell the physical products that I did have left. But around this time, because I was learning how to run Facebook ads, now new ideas are coming to me about what's possible. And now that I understand my target audience and I understand how to define them and how to better serve them, I narrowed down to what problem they were facing. Most people within the sound of my voice were facing the underwhelm of the dating scene. Big surprise there. Being overqualified for what they were presented with, wasting time, missing red flags, having somebody reveal their true selves after they already had gotten invested. So with that, now I was able to create something specific to that issue because that was a huge issue. And that was the birth of MSM Card Game. MSM Card Game was created to fix the problem with trash date nights, essentially trash dating lives that probably could have been nipped in the bud if they had only had better date nights to begin with. Okay? I wonder if that waiter is single. I can't believe I actually used that doggone picture. So yes, on the next slide. Thanks, Charles. You beat me there. All good. Now that I'm understanding the right way to approach things, I'm not just going by passion. Of course, this is my passion and stuff like that. But within your passion, there's going to be many monetization options, right? So you start with something that you love. And then from there, you choose the best monetization option based on what you can afford to get into and what's going to solve the biggest problem. MSM Card Game was the first company I had that did 7 figures in its first year. It was the first product that I had that did 7 figures. Matter of fact, it actually did 7 figures in less than 7 months. It was right under 6 months, actually. But I had sold it through different channels. This is what happens. This is what happens. See, some of y'all already even got the game. This is what happens whenever you understand who your target audience is and you understand what problem they're facing. Let's go to the next one. Now, a lot of people get the misconception that, hey, D, you sold a lot of products because by this time you had a whole lot of followers. Some of y'all may have seen this, some of y'all may have not. But there was a young lady, and I'm not laughing at her for real. I'm just like, I'm tripped out by the miseducation of people when it comes to having followers. Having followers does not equal to having dollars. This young lady has 2.6 million followers and could not sell 36 t-shirts. And I've been there before. Not the 2.6 million followers. She said this herself, by the way. She put this in the caption. She had some kind of collaboration with a company, and their whole thing was she had to sell a minimum of 36 shirts, and she could not move 36 shirts, despite having 2.6 million followers. More than likely, because I didn't look at her product, she was putting it in front of the wrong people. She had the wrong thing, putting it in front of the wrong people. I'm pretty sure I could have helped her. But yeah. You do not have to have followers, and having followers does not mean that you're going to make a lot of sales. Let's just clear that up right now. So, kind of a recap here. Let me bring it all home. This is why I was able to succeed through everything that had gone on, through starting out without the best college education, through having a rough patch to where I didn't have any money. And this is something that I'm thinking 90% of you will be able to take something from. Hopefully you've gotten something already. But I learned to put faith over fear. I was operating from fear. I was operating from the pain of being disappointed, of not being supported. I was operating from the pain of being embarrassed. And the other time that I tried something, I didn't walk in my power to begin with until I started putting my faith over fear. I got out of my own way when it came to my ego. I was willing to be the horrible one at first, not be able to compete with those who have been doing it for years. I was cool with that. I was also doing this for something greater than myself. Some people out there, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. Some of y'all out there are doing it strictly for a selfish reason. And I'm not saying it's bad to, on some level, be selfish, because you got to be mindful of what you need. But at the end of the day, I'm not one of those that's about to paint this unrealistic picture of entrepreneurship so you think it's all sunshine and dandies and roses. At the end of the day, this thing will test you. It will make you fight old demons. It will try to break you at times. I just want to you'll never look at Derek and say, he told me this was going to be easy. But whenever you're anchored down in something bigger than yourself, you're always going to come back to, but I got to do it, but it's worth it, but I can do it. That needs to be on the forefront of your mind. If it's just you, you're going to quit every single time. Also, VOV. Because I never got away from value on value. Like I said, just for my MSM card game, some of y'all have seen some of my promotions, cartoons, animations, where there's a lesson in it. I'm always providing value. Value over everything. And whenever you're getting some money in, you can give value for free. You can give abundantly. You can give as much as you want. You have to be so frugal with the value that you give whenever you're not getting any money. But whenever you're getting a little money, you can put value over everything. That's the most important thing. I don't do collaborations with people that's going to compromise my standard of value. Whether it's the message, whether it's the product or whatever. You got to put value over everything. And I was willing to invest in myself. I had a bad relationship with money. I had the wrong relationship with money. I looked at money in the same way. Like just liabilities, one-dimensional. You know, if I'm spending money on something, I'm strictly looking at the here and now, what I'm going to lose in order to get that thing. Instead of understanding there's a difference between spending on a liability and spending on an asset. When you're spending on an asset, something that's going to make you money, something that has a positive ROI, you need to be looking at the back end of it. So $200 saved my business. $200 for a Facebook course turned everything around. Gave me momentum again. Gave the spark I needed so I could come up with an MSM card game that would go on to do 7 figures in less than 7 months. I was willing to invest in myself. Man, I won't say if you take nothing else, because honestly, I hope you take a lot from this webinar, but this is definitely one of those things you got to challenge. If you didn't come from a family that taught you the difference between liabilities and assets, taught you to look at spending on a liability versus an asset completely different, take this. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. And lastly, because we ain't even finished, y'all. Tell me something, y'all. Y'all getting something from this? Y'all getting something from this? Say yes if you're getting something from this. We ain't done. We ain't done. I'm seeing a couple amens, some right, some yeses. All right, Danielle. Dope. Because now we're going to really turn up. Let's get into... No, wait, not yet. No, wait, might be getting ahead of myself. Oh, no, I'm not. Next slide is the ultimate cheat code. Charles, you beat me there again. Appreciate it. The ultimate cheat code is mentorship. My whole career, the biggest quantum leaps I took were at the hands of somebody saying, go this direction. You're almost there, you're close, but go this direction. What mentorship allows you to do is learn from other people's mistakes instead of having to learn everything by trial and error firsthand. It allows you to take years of somebody else's lessons learned and whatever things that they've gone through. It allows you to condense that into whatever format that they're giving the mentorship. Again, one of the best investments you can make. If you're going to make an investment, absolutely look for a way to make an investment into mentorship. Because think about it like this. I compare it to the invention of fire. Whenever people used to have to create fire, they would put a stick between rocks and straw. I've never done this personally. Those of y'all who have ever gone camping, you can vouch for this. And I'm pretty sure it took at least 2 to 3 minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, maybe longer than that, if the wind blowing and there's water around or whatever, to finally get some fire. But guess what? Because knowledge was able to be built upon, now comes the lighter or the Vic candle or the stove. Not just because of these inventions. The premise here is that knowledge was built upon. So now there's a much more efficient way to do things. And the same thing goes for success in any area. There's nothing that I know of in terms of massive success that's going to happen overnight, get rich quick. But you absolutely can get there much more efficiently if you build on other people's knowledge instead of saying, I'm going to start from zero, learn everything myself, which is complete ego. And that's really a lot of what I did. That's one of the mistakes that I made. But let me tell you who else gets mentorship. For those who still think, nope, I'm just going to figure it out. I don't need nobody to tell me nothing. Serena Williams, one example. She has a coach. She's the best in the world, one of the best, actually probably the best athlete to ever live. Man or woman. This girl's been dominating for years. They can't touch her. She just lost something for like the first time in forever. Beast mode. Guess what? She has a coach. She has somebody, I'm pretty sure she probably can't even beat him one-on-one. She has a coach. She has somebody from an outside perspective being able to tell her, this is how you do that. If Serena, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, any great, Tiger Woods, they all have coaches. They all have somebody to mentor them. Who are we to say we don't need a mentor? We don't need to be taught something. Very egotistical and bound to have a very difficult time with this entrepreneurship thing. It's already hard enough. So, with this understanding, again, after I got out of my own way with the Arsha Jones thing, she didn't take me on as a mentee, but she definitely pointed me in the right direction, and I understood the value of mentorship. I came across a brother by the name of Chris Daniel. He was my first official mentor, father, husband, speaker, and he taught me about the importance of systems. Because now I was doing some pretty good revenue, and y'all are going to get there. Get this business off the ground, you're going to get running, you're going to be getting sales, and guess what? You're going to feel burnt out. Because you're still trying to do stuff with the old mentality and the old way that got you to where you are. He taught me the importance of systems and how systems can 10x everything. Not just from your efficiency and the money, but also being able to get back to your personal life. Because now I'm a father. Now I'm a husband. Or at least a fiance at the time or something like that. But now I have other things I need to lend myself to. I can't just burn out shipping and handling ads, everything all the time. I highly accredit him to the reason my business has continued to grow, and I've been able to do more things like this training instead of having to be consumed with running any of my other businesses. And I'll be forever grateful for Chris's impact on my life. Some of y'all who are familiar with E.T., this was Eric Thomas's right-hand man. Chris passed away this past August. He passed away this past year, and he's a big part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now. You know, my first official mentor took me aside, and he wasn't more popping on social media or anything like that, but made one of the biggest differences in my life, and you know, I'll be forever grateful. And I'm not trying to bring down the mood. In fact, I'm extremely happy that in his short time on this earth, he lived such a full life, and he planted a seed in me that's now getting ready to bear fruit through those of you who are listening right now. And those of you I've been able to impact in my business since I came across Chris. So, one more time, because now we're nearing the end. How y'all liking the webinar? Did y'all get something out of that? I've given you guys the 3 biggest components of financial freedom. Have y'all gotten something out of this webinar? I need to hear it. Jessica says yes. Mira says yes. Anna says hearts. LaRonda, I feel like I've seen you before, LaRonda. What's going on? Okay, awesome. All right, and I got another question. Another question before we move forward, because we can wrap this thing up right now. Or if it's okay with you guys, can I show you something that I've been working on very diligently and I'm extremely excited about now? Do I have you guys' permission to share with you something I've been working on? I'm looking in the comments. Tell me if I can. Getting chills just thinking about it. Oh man. Let me know now. I'm not going to go forward. If y'all tell me to wrap this thing up right now, I'll do it. We'll do a Q&A and we'll get up out of here. But do I have permission to share with you guys something I've been working on? Mighty Soul says yes. Okay, cool. Let's do it then. Glad y'all sticking with me, man. We supposed to start this thing at 8. It's almost 2 hours later. So, With my experiences and with the fact that, I didn't do this with no get rich quick scheme, I've actually been through the trenches. I've lost it all and I've gotten it right back. I didn't have a silver spoon. I didn't have anything handed to me. And this is not me gloating. This is me being able to empathize on the level with where most of you are at and where so many other people are at. And other people can't do that because they did get it quick and easy and they're going to lose it just as quick as they got it. But I was led to do not only what I'm doing now, but as I was doing what I'm doing now, this financial freedom blueprint training and coming up with all these things I wanted to share, there was way too much to fit into this hour and a half that we've spent so far talking about how you guys are going to level up and change your lives. So I decided to come up with my own mentorship program called 7 Streams Academy. This is going to be my program where I share not only the things that I've taught you guys, but more about advertising, more about how to sell, because again, there's too many people within the sound of my voice that need more or could use more than just my help getting started, that may actually want my help along their journey to make it a little bit more efficient. So, 7 Streams Academy is all about helping people achieve financial freedom through multiple streams of income by providing both the strategic guidance and the emotional support to survive those ups and those downs. If y'all can't tell yet, any entrepreneurs out there currently trying to run a business, vouch for me on this. It's one thing to have the tips, the tools, and the tricks and the strategies, but guess what? At some point, you got to beat that discouragement whenever your family don't support you like you thought they would. At some point, you got to know how to pick yourself up and keep on going whenever you launch something and tech issues hit you in the face and you didn't see them coming, no matter what you did to get prepared and what kind of equipment you got. You get what I'm saying? You have to have support, and there's so few people who can honestly relate to an entrepreneur who's trying to create a better life for themselves and their family. So this is what 7 Streams Academy members will get, my members, because I've actually been a part of other e-learning experiences, and they're a little underwhelming to say the least. Live coaching by me every single week. Mentality shifters every single day. Intro to Facebook ads training. Again, that was one of the hugest turning points in the way that I sell today and how everybody can honestly make some money right now. How to crush your fear of public speaking masterclass. Because man, I got some unique techniques in how I had to do mine, and it took me years to come up with all of the things I had to do in order to get over my fear of public speaking. But some of you can vouch for that. That's not a problem anymore. And also how to create your first product with little to no money. Now, if you're wondering who is 7 Streams Academy for, it's for those of you who either are just getting started, maybe you haven't even started, you're still curious. If you're even watching this right now, then this is definitely you. Because you may not have started, you may just be getting started, you're just trying to put the basics together, you're just getting your first website, or you got one, you ain't really putting no sales, no traffic is coming to it. This is for you. This is also for those of you who already have a business, but you seemingly hit a wall. You seemingly hit a wall, so you're trying to scale up to get to that first 6-figure year, or maybe even that first 6-figure month. I've created tools for all of that. So again, the first thing that my members will get is coaching from me 4 times minimum every single month. $4,000 value. You can go on Insight.io right now and see that my cost for coaching for 1 hour is $1,000. And that's just for relationships. When you're talking business, it's actually double that. But $4,000. I'm going to be doing weekly updates on what's working, not only for myself, but other people. I'm going to do overviews of submitted ads. And honestly, I say I'm going to do. We've been doing this. I unofficially launched 7 Streams Academy about a week and a half ago, and that's what we've been doing. How to get past those walls, and of course, Q&As. So you never have to worry about trying to you, etc., as we've all had happen. So, live coaching by me, first off, every month, that's a $4,000 value. The second thing, again, daily mentality shifters. Because I now have an app, I've created an app so that you guys can get notified every single day so that way you can start shifting your mindset. We talked about the importance of being able to prime yourself for success mentally. This is just one screenshot from what's in the 7 Streams Academy app. 3 P's to prevent burnout: patience, perspective, priorities. I go in depth. And I go in depth every single day. And that is a $500 value. Not only that, I'm also giving my members of 7 Streams Academy my 10 secrets to getting followers that buy over and over again. Now, this is actually an outdated mock-up. I should have put a video because I've actually made this, what was going to be just a PDF, I've made it into a full-on masterclass over an hour. I think, actually I said 10, I think I gave like 14 or 15 of my best stuff on how I've been able to reach 15 to 20 million people a week consistently for the last 5 years, and how I've made sure that did actually turn into revenue so I can create a life for my family. That is a $2,500 value by itself that pays for itself very quickly, by the way, if you apply what I'm talking about. That brings the 7 Streams Academy membership up to $7,000 value. So y'all let me know what you think. I want to know what you think in the comments. What you thinking so far about this? All right. Also, how to crush your fear of public speaking masterclass. Like I mentioned before, I've been there sweating. I've been there. I've turned down commencement speeches. I've been there. I mean, I'm talking about running out of an event because I'm scared. I'm going to tell everybody within my 7 Streams membership, because I feel like being a public speaker is one of the best side hustles you can have. If you have a story, if you have experiences, there's no reason you shouldn't be on that stage. But I know the number one reason a lot of people don't get on that stage, and it's because of their fear. That masterclass is a $2,500 value by itself. That will pay for itself 20 times, 30 times over. That brings the value of 7 Streams Academy to $9,500. Anybody, y'all said y'all dealt with that fear? I'm getting to it. And again, Facebook ads training overview. So now I'm taking not only what I learned from my last course, but every course I've taken on Facebook ads ever, and I've compiled it not only into a PDF, but an ongoing training on how to run your own Facebook ads profitably, which brings the value of 7 Streams Academy up to $11,000. Now, real quick, let me ask y'all something down in the chat. Because what I try to do with this is create a learning experience that if I had it, I would have felt like was the key pivotal thing in me being able to have not just 6 or 7 figures a year, but being able to have 6 or 7 figures a month. If this was able to give you, say, 6 figures a month, let's just say that's what your full potential is. If this was able to play a key part in getting you to 6 figures every month, tell me something. Would it be worth $11,000 to you? I want to know. Tell me in the chat. Would it be worth $11,000 to you? I want to know. I'm not charging anybody $11,000, by the way. I just want to know if it was able to get you $100,000 or more per month. If you were able to look back and say, because I was a 7 Streams Academy member, I got $100,000 or more a month. Would it be worth $11,000? Okay, so we got some people who understand the right relationship between spending and liabilities versus assets. Well, the actual price is nowhere near that. It's only $197. $197 a month. That's the investment to get all of that on a monthly basis. You keep it as long as it's giving value to you. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for people who are still on this webinar. Those of you who hung in there. I did this for the first class of 7 streamers. And honestly, I was going to cap it there, but I wanted to be fair for those of you guys who came. And I'm glad I did. For those who are on this webinar, watching this webinar right now, I'm doing a 50% off discount, more than 50% off, for just $97, but only for the first 150 members. If I have moderators, please put the link for people to go and be able to click. For only the first 150 people. And when the 150 thing caps, it's not going to go to full price. It's going to cut off. I'm cutting off registration. It's already set to cut off registration whenever it reaches its max capacity. Tell me what you guys think of that. I want to know. Does that sound fair for all of that value? Because if not, if you're being difficult, I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet. This is where it gets crazy. Because nobody's doing this part. Try me on this one. Every month, I'm personally collaborating with one 7 Streams Academy member. and putting them on my page to 4.5 million plus followers total between Facebook and Instagram. Free promo, $10,000 value just for the promo by itself. On top of that, I'm giving them a business grant of $1,000. Both my platforms are verified, by the way, just in case y'all have not noticed. This was our most recent winner, because I'm not a flexer. And again, nobody is doing this. Her name is Nana Aishia. She's from Ghana, so I may be messing that up. Forgive me, guys. But this young lady is both a robotics engineer and the CEO of her own fashion line. Some of y'all may have seen me post her a couple of days ago. She was the first 7 Streams Academy winner from my first class, and that's her with the $1,000 that I gave her for her business, so she could put that into her advertising. And we have a one-on-one consultation to prep you for that post so you can handle all of that traffic that's coming your way. That's an $11,000 value by itself, which brings the total value of 7 Streams Academy to $22,000 and nothing extra for that. Still 50% off, but only for the first 150 people to click on the link. If my moderators are in there, put it in there. If not, go to 7streamsacademy.com. We're going to be on here a little bit longer to do Q&A. You got time right now. 50% off for the first 150 people. Everybody else has to pay full price. This is me dedicating myself and making sure that I create success stories. Whenever you first opted in to get on this training, there was a quote that said, if I succeed and I don't use my journey to help other people succeed, then guess what? I've failed. I believe that wholeheartedly. There's been too many people who have dedicated themselves to helping me succeed for me not to pay it forward. This is me paying it forward for a fraction of what honestly it should be and what it will be in the future. So for those who are actually ready to act right now and who are willing to trust me as your mentor, not only am I giving you 50% off, but I'm also backing it with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Meaning if I don't help you take off in your business, if I can't give you tools that are actually practical and useful to you, I don't want your money. Hit me up, no questions asked. I'll give you your money back. Simple. 30-day money-back guarantee. I've already invested in it. I've already poured thousands of dollars in it. I'll give you your money back. If that's the case. It's not going to be the case. Reviews are crazy. Again, moderators, anybody that has a link, please post it. But 7streamsacademy.com is where you can go. Now, let me be clear, guys, because on this next slide, I'm going to explain something to you. You have 2 choices. I can't make anybody do anything. You can either stay on the fence. For those who are still on the fence, you can either stay on the fence, you can either cling to your pessimism, you can do the same thing that you've always done, you can keep the same thing that you've always gotten, you can keep your old habits, you can leave your future and your ability to enjoy your kids and enjoy your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You can leave all of that in somebody else's hands. You can learn everything the hard way and by yourself. I can't stop you if that's what you want to do. All I can do is help those who are ready to make the leap. That's it. I mean, you can give yourself the chance for something new if you're willing to. You can invest in yourself because you know that you are your greatest asset and you know that you're worth it. If you'll spend $100 on hair, on shoes, on jewelry, on drinks, on whatever, why ain't you worth the investment? You can take control of your future and you can learn these things 10 times faster and cheaper than learning the hard way by yourself. And that's it, guys. For those who, I don't know if it's already capped. I don't know if it's already capped for 7 Streams Academy. It may already be there or it may not. Registration will close the moment that we hit that ceiling of 150 new members. I like to keep the group small so that I can continue to serve everybody with my full self. So when we do those Q&As, they're not overrun by people. But let me know. What did you guys think? Let's see here. For those who are getting it 50% off, once you get it for 50% off, it stays 50% off for the entire time that you got it. Your price will never go up. And this is despite me bringing in coaches and everything else, continuing to pour value into it. Your price will never go up. It is monthly. This is a monthly membership, and you keep it only as long as you like it. This is monthly though. So after month one, if you feel like you haven't gotten $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 worth of value from it, cancel. No questions asked. This is monthly. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So you keep it only as long as you get value, 30-day money back guarantee, but most importantly, you get around a community of like-minded people who are all determined to take their life to the next level, who are tired of settling for what they're dealt, and they're ready to bring a whole new hand to the table. I'm sorry, but I'm one of those people that wanted to break generational curses, and this was the leap that I took. Can't make anybody do anything, but you can't say that the opportunity wasn't there. So let's get on. Let's get on to, somebody says, has it started? It has started. If you didn't get your link, if you didn't get your email for app access, check your spam folder. Check your spam folder. For those who signed up last week, we have been in there. And we are growing. We are popping. So let's get into the Q&A. Let's get into the Q&A. Somebody said you didn't get anything. Oh, WS Ladder? Somebody got $500, WS Ladder. Let me see. Whitney, you got to hit me up. I can't handle that right now. Hit me up. Hit me up, Whitney. Hit me up. We're ready to get into the Q&A now. And by the way, we do these every single week. We actually just did one last night on 7 Streams Academy for my 7 streamers out there. Yes, you can go to 7streamsacademy.com or click one of the links that you see from the moderators. All right, so Katrina. Oh, you say my business, kdesigncrafts.com, is getting clicks and likes since I did the Facebook ads there. You were right. Katrina is one of our early members into 7 Streams Academy. Shout out to you, Katrina, because they think I'm playing. They think, I don't say they. Let me stop speaking for everybody. I saw some people in here still on the fence. I'm not going to tell you anything that doesn't work. My name on it is going to be legit, period. Period. If you don't currently have a business idea, I still encourage you to try it out. Try it out. I'm actually having a coach come in the 24th. Yeah, a couple of weeks. On the 24th, he's coming into 7 Streams Academy to help people just like you who don't currently have something that they want to do. So we can learn how to narrow down to whatever it is that you might be good at and take a shot at it with the guidance of people who have already done it. Let's see here. Lily, you said you've been in here almost 2 hours trying to comment. Oh man, I hate it. Let's see here. If you're having any issues, somebody said they had a problem with paying. If you're having any issues, email us. We'll take care of it. My team is on standby right now. info@7streamsacademy.com. For those who are jumping over there, they're trying to get it done. Again, if it may shut off on you because it reached the 150 person limit. info@7streamsacademy.com. That is the email. If you have any issues, I'll send word to make an exception for those of you who are trying to get on but having any kind of issues. Ashley Renee says she's been trying to comment since 4:45. Ain't that some stuff? Thanks, Vimeo. All right, let's do a Q&A. Let's see here. Said it won't let you update your card info. Thanks. More tech issues. I swear to God. Email me. All right. Veronica Brock says, is it better to have digital products or tangible products or both? So Veronica, I believe in having both. I believe in variety, and sometimes the monetary relationship with physical products is just a little bit stronger. So if your digital product isn't quite moving the way that you thought it would, a physical product allows you to put something in there that people definitely understand they gotta pay for. You see, whenever you say, hey, I'm doing a course, a training, a class, a live, or whatever, some people feel like, well, that should be free. They don't really associate money with it because it's kind of getting common now, you know, unless you've already got an established brand. But what a physical product can do, if you say, hey guys, if you're willing to give this course a chance or whatever, you can get this book for a super huge discount. People already understand they got to pay for a book, so that can get the needle moved, so people can get into your class of wellness or whatever it is that you do. That book or that whatever it is. I know one guy, he put all of his best ads on a USB and shipped that out to people, when that could have easily been something that he just digitized and shot through the email and said, hey, come mess with me, I'm gonna shoot you this. He put it on there. I think he tripled his sales of his course whenever he added a physical product with it. So if you don't have a lot of money, start off first with a digital product. See what people find interest in. As you build the interest in that, as you build the trust around that, create a physical product. That's going to create the most dynamic ability to sell. That's going to create your best opportunity to sell. Somebody said it's frozen. Oh my God. If you're having a problem on 7 Streams, it may be because of the traffic, but please, please, please email my team. They're standing by waiting to help. info@7Streams Academy. info@7Streams Academy. Okay, Jessica, we're going to try to get to as many questions as possible. Y'all waited long enough, so we're going to make sure we get this popping. Is there a site you recommend when you started writing your own books? What book do you recommend to read to help with start of a business? Whew, that's a lot. Okay, is there a site to recommend whenever you start writing your own books? Not necessarily a site, but there is a book I could refer you to in terms of self-publishing. Get the Self-Publishing Manual by Dan Poynter. He creates a new edition every year, walks you through the process of publishing your own book. Now, in terms of writing, I'll give you just kind of my overview. I'll probably end up doing a deep dive on this at some point, but essentially what you want to do is first blueprint the things that people are going to get value out of. So what is it that your customer, your follower wants to know? What is it that you can give to the world? Blueprint it out, right? Then your rough draft phase should be you spilling it all out. You're not thinking too hard. You're not trying to make it pop in. You're not trying to, make this polished. Your rough draft process is essentially you just vomiting on that paper or that Word document. You got to get it out. You're going to get all the polishing done later. And even in order to do that, writing has to become something that you do every single day. This has to be just like going to the gym. You're establishing a new habit. You're not going to be able to write that book tonight or tomorrow when the emotion is there. So I would set a 30 to 60 day plan. It took me 10 months to write my first book because I didn't understand this. 30 to 60 days is as long as it should take you. If you're truly vomiting whenever you first make that rough draft instead of overthinking it, and then you go through polishing it up for the final draft, and then the publishing process is the easiest part. That takes like maybe a week and a half. Just a quick overview. I think you asked something else, but I forgot it. Please repeat the name of it. It was The Self-Publishing Manual by Dan Poynter. It's a little much, honestly. There's a much simpler way to go about it. I may create a resource around this, matter of fact, because it don't take all of that what he put in that book, but it does have the step-by-step on how to go and get the ISBN number, how to create a cover, who you need to consult with for a cover. So somebody says, what if we don't have a business idea? Like I said, Juanita, what you're going to start off with first is not necessarily, you don't know what you're going to do as far as your business goes. You don't have it all together right now, right? What you do have is something you're curious about, something you're good at naturally more than the average person. I would say start there. Now, you can't jump off the pot making money doing what it is you're naturally good at. You're going to have to sharpen the skill around that to support it, because there's likely other people who are already naturally good at it as well and have been sharpening that skill. So what is it that you like? What is it that your friends come to you for advice with? What way have people complimented you in terms of your ability to do something? What if you're, hey, I love it. You know what? You're great at cooking. You're great. I love that you have such great advice when it comes to getting through things. I know I can count on you when it comes to seeing things a little bit more clearly. Man, you really have a knack for that or this. Start there. That's what I did. I started there. Because of relationship reasons, I had a different perspective on relationships. So it was something I felt compelled to do. I so happen to have been a poet my entire life because as a man, I felt like I couldn't express myself and my emotions to just anybody. So I needed a way that I could be completely honest because I think that's a human need. So throughout my life, I had been naturally gifted at telling what was on my heart or my mind. And I was particularly interested in relationships because that was the place in my life I felt like I got bamboozled the most. So I started there. And here we are. Here we are. Let's see. What about custom items, says Anna Marie. My business is based on making custom party themed items for events or as gifts. What's your advice for a direction? That's actually a great business. For my babies, we actually do, the custom thing, custom clothes, custom decoration and all of that. I would say you need to go and find somebody that is having an event, some baby shower, some whatever it is, and you need to put on. And you need to put on big time. What I say put on is you're basically investing in yourself. And this is something everybody could take from this. Essentially, you need to intern for yourself. Free internship for yourself, meaning you're about to go put in work in the beginning just so you can have a portfolio of work that proves that you're good at what you do. So that way you can take that proof and you bring it to somebody who has the capital, who has the capacity to pay you for that. So you make custom items, that's awesome. The mistake a lot of people make with this type of thing, they just take a picture of the custom item. They just put up really nice DSLR pictures or even video of their custom item. You need to deck out an entire event. Your sister, cousin, homegirl, whoever's having, I don't know, a reception, whoever, whatever. If you're good at what you do, you need to let them know, hey, I'll pay for this one. Let me cover it. I want to do this for you. Get some great footage. Get some reviews from these people about your professionalism and how quickly you got it done. And then you go find people who need what you offer, who are like, it's so many people that like to do the most. Decoration for a party or something like that, they love to do the most with themselves. You don't think they want to do the most for their kids? You can save them time and you can bring your expertise because some people just ain't crafty like that. That's what you do with that. Let's see here. If we don't offer a product but a service, like mobile notary. There's also, I'm not super duper familiar with that space, but I've heard of many mobile notaries out here. Again, start with who's crushing it in your field. Who's crushing it in your field? Who are their followers made up of? What are their demographics? Where do they live? What again, shows do they watch? All the things that I gave you about how to define your target audience. Yes, guys, 7streamsacademy.com is where you can become a member. But back to what I was saying. Who else is crushing it? So this is where you do some homework. You don't know where to start? That's understandable. None of us knew where to start. I didn't know where to start. But again, how did I tell you I started? Google. Who's another person like me who's doing it, what I'm trying to do? That gave me a starting point. That gave me direction. Now that person may not want to take you aside, but you don't really need them to take you aside. Whatever it is that you see somebody doing over and over and over again in your field, it's working. If they're prospering, if they clearly have customers, reviews, they have proof that they are doing their thing, go find somebody who's crushing it. Pay attention to what they're doing. Nipsey Hussle said something. He said, you got to study success like it's your homework. Nipsey Hussle is a rapper, by the way. Mogul, business mogul. He's more than a rapper. Passed away recently as well. You need to find the people who are in your space and doing their thing and crushing it. If they're not online for real, find the ones that are local to you. Offer them lunch. It's really that simple. That's how you get direction. You start getting curious. Y'all know whenever you feel like your man or fellas that's watching, if there are any, feel like your woman, you feel like your partner is doing something, you start getting curious. What they say, go looking for dirt, you're going to find it. Guess what? You go looking for direction, the same thing is going to happen. Go looking for direction. You're going to find it. Anna says, thank you, Derek. My 11-year-old daughter, Marina, is watching with me, and she says, you're awesome. Thank you, daughter. Much love to you. So, Dejanea, Bowser. Dang, I'm messing up. Says, how would you recommend developing topics for a podcast? Do you have a system for idea development, or does it come naturally? Also, shameless plug, podcast is called Grossly Overqualified, available everywhere podcasts are. I have no problem with the shameless plug. Again, I'm not against you putting your work out. Hopefully what you got going on is helping people, and if it is, I want people to know about it. So shout out to you, Dejanea. Now, as far as developing topics, this is how I go about it. And this is kind of some more intel, but this is why, look, this is what y'all came for. I look at whatever the commonly understood perspective is. What is the general notion right now in that area? What is the general notion right now, right? So once you have that established, that allows you to keep from being boring or being another broken record. You find out what it is people are already saying, and then not necessarily try to be a contrarian, but try to find that space where you can add something to it. So I'll give you an example. You know how they always said, actions speak louder than words? I know I've made a video saying, well, actions speak louder than words, but patterns tell the truth. You get what I'm saying? That's how you can add something to it, a different perspective. You don't want to give people, of course, whatever you're trying to do, somebody's already talking about. Somebody's already given that subject some value. Find whatever everybody else is saying. This is where you become a student of what you're trying to become successful at. And then find a way to add value. Even with 7 Streams Academy, I know what the general offering is. The general offering is strictly the tips, the tricks, the guides, and half the time they don't even be that good. They don't even work no more. They be outdated as hell. They're from people who are no longer successful. They just had a stint of success 10 years ago, and now all of a sudden they want to tell you how to be successful. So how I could add value to what's commonly already offered to people is providing things that work in the here and now, and adding to that the missing piece, which is the emotional support, ongoingly, daily. That's been the key to success. Card games. This is not just topics. That's what I'm getting at. Anybody trying to develop anything, take this and apply it to what you got going on. It's going to help you soar. It's going to help you stand out. Card games. Card games are always offered for people that wanted to have great party nights, game nights. I saw some card games about basically how cultured are you, African American or whatever you are. I said, you know what? Here's the missing piece. Nobody's using card games for couples, for conversation starters, for weeding out people who you don't need to become a couple with. Find that missing piece. That's how you can create the value. Hold on one second. Oh, damn it, y'all almost let me forget. We haven't given out much money, have we? Let's give out some money. Lily Johnson, I didn't see it, sweets. Let's give out some money. Hold on. Let's do this. Let me see. How can I, let me see, what's another good one? What's another good one? No, I don't want to use that one. I'm trying to think of something. Well, we're getting ready to do another giveaway, y'all, because I forgot. And I got to keep my word. If I say I'm about to give away $1,000, I'm giving away $1,000. Somebody, I don't care if it's 20 people on here. We're going to be on here to whatever. What country of descent is my family originated from? Like what country? What descent am I? Of what descent is my family? I know I messed it up. Of what descent is my family? I want to know who's been following, who knows anything. Of what descent is my family? Not American, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. Put that plus your PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. We're about to do another giveaway. We're about to do another giveaway. Oh, wait, let me see. Somebody says Nigerian. Nah, not Nigerian. Love the Nigerians though, but that ain't it. Let's see here. Let's see here. Shaniqua says Jamaican. That's it. Jamaican. That's it. Let's see. Nick let me screenshot this because I will. Ah, damn it, I can't screenshot it. So y'all be having these hard cash apps, and then when I misspell it, you don't get your money, and then you be mad at me. Nick Wakwene. Okay? We're gonna try it. We gonna try it. About to do another giveaway. Nick. What the fuck? Nick Waquine. Waquine. I hope I got it, Nick Waquine. I don't know why y'all want to have somebody can't even give y'all money. Let me see. Let me make sure I spelled it right. Up, it's not coming. I shouldn't have given the answer. Nick, N-I-K. Oh, okay, that's where I did it. Oh, Shaniqua, got you. Got you. We have our next winner. I may do another one, who knows. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Going dead on me. All right, y'all see it? I can't even see if it's being seen. Can y'all see it? All right. Shaniqua, got you covered. You are another winner. Somebody said they can't see the comments. Hope I can see them. I can see them again. Let's do some more. We'll do some more, guys. We'll do some more. We'll do a couple of them. You guys waited long enough. We are 2.5 hours after we originally started. Tried to start. Not actually, we actually started. Charles, I'll be done just a second, brother. They waited for hours. I want to make sure they get their money's worth. Shonda, you said you want to start a nonprofit for kids. Can your program help me with that? At the end of the day, even a nonprofit is a system that has some kind of reciprocal value. So when it comes to a nonprofit, I had a nonprofit actually. It's called Team Jackson. Was actually a nonprofit, 501(c), and I founded that back in 2010. When y'all hear me saying Team Jackson, what's happening? That's actually a nonprofit. That was my very first nonprofit in college. One thing I learned about nonprofits is they're just like businesses. You have to get visibility. You have to put it in front of people who can find interest in what you do. There's going to be some kind of money exchange, if not directly from the people, then from donors and investors and everything else like that. So at the end of the day, I would say 7 Streams Academy, it will give you the tools to be able to leverage Facebook ads. It will give you the support in terms of community, myself, in terms of pushing that to be the biggest nonprofit it can be. But we're definitely built for those who are building businesses, who are finding consumers. So I would advise you to do this, because I don't want you to get something that you're not going to take, you're not going to find value in. And I'm not about look, when I do the official launch, there's going to be plenty of people who join, so I'm not about that either. I would say give it a try. Give 7 Streams Academy a try. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Try it out for 2 to 3 weeks. Take a gander, see if you're getting anything of value. And if you don't feel like you're making forward progress with your nonprofit, hit us up, give you a refund, cancel, all good to go. Just try it out. That's what I would say. Shout out to my 7 streamers who are still on here. Yes, I am, Sarah. Gotta give it though, man. My heart is into this, man, and I love the feeling of knowing you guys are about to go to the next level. I love the feeling of knowing you guys are about to take your life into your own hands. Chills just thinking about it. Heather Color says, how would you advertise for a decking company? Been in business 3 years, have a portfolio, just trying to grow. Would 7 Streams help with that? A decking company. It's really, and I'm not even sure if you're saying decking company, are you talking about like you build decks in terms of construction? Charles, am I wrong with that? When I say decking company, does that sound like what it is to you? I've never heard of a decking company, but let me tell you something I've never seen of any company. If you have customers that are on social media, if the businesses, because you might be business to business, if the people that you need to reach, the gatekeepers, are on social media, 7 Streams Academy is going to help with that. Because ultimately, what you're trying to do is leverage access. Radio, billboards, magazines, middle of the night TV ads, classifieds, newspapers. All of those pages, all of those mediums that have some type of advertising value, what they are leveraging, or what they're allowing people to tap into is their access to people. Let's just break it down in real layman's terms here. So what you're trying to do is, with your business, if you're trying to grow it, you had it for 3 years, you're talking about your portfolio. Okay, now you're almost like the tree that may or may not have made a sound whenever it fell in the woods. And I'm not being disrespectful. What I'm saying is you have something, but you seemingly don't have the people in order to start generating a profit, generating an income. Access is what you're trying to find, access to the people. There's no better venue of access today than social media. People use it for frivolous reasons, twerk videos, fight videos, all kinds of triggering stuff. Look, I've gone black for a bit. Okay, I'm back. People use it for whatever they want to use it for. Social media gives you access. And yes, I'm not even sure what a decking company is, but you can put yourself in front of people that will find value in it through social media. And yes, that's what we specialize on in 7 Streams Academy. And then there are probably more ways to monetize that decking company than what you currently have. That's what we're going to talk about as well. Stephanie, direct, honest feedback, hit me up in the email. I get everything. If somebody says, hey, D, I want to tell you about such and such, hit me up, info@7streamsacademy.com. Shout out to my moderator. How to build more followers. That's in my 10 secrets. That's in my 10 secrets to building followers that actually buy. I'll tell you just a couple of quick things because, I mean, really, I just did more than an hour of a masterclass on that, and we're not going to stay here because it's a lot. But the biggest thing is creating a pot of gold and then getting on people's radars over and over and over again. A pot of gold meaning if right now you're saying I want to build followers, but your page is full of you and your cat, you and whatever food that you ate yesterday, you in random memes about random topics, and there's no focus, you're not building a pot of gold. You're building a little piggy bank full of cotton and tokens from the arcade, stuff that people can't use. A pot of gold means a concentrated pot of value based on what you want people to come to you and know that they can come to you for. Pot of gold, awareness. Get on people's radars. Say, do you yourself mentor in 7 Streams Academy, or is it other people you hire to mentor? No, it's Derek Jackson, and I've had that before. I've had that before where I joined a program, and this was $1,000 a month, and I got mentored by the understudies of that person who sold me on the membership program, in which I won't say it was useless. Honestly, from that learning, I actually did profit, but from that experience, I knew I wanted to offer my members something a little bit more authentic, something a little bit more personal, because it is personal. Let's see, we're gonna do one more. Let's see here. Do you have advice for starting an interior design business without schooling? Hell yeah. Look, let me tell you something. For just about anything, there's gotta be a way where you can start right here, right now, where you're at. The same thing that I told the young lady that had custom items is the same thing I would tell you. If you like to do interior decorating in any kind of design, and honestly, that field is a little bit different because they are more traditional in terms of what schooling they respect. But if you can simply deck out your room, deck out the bathroom, find affordable ways to do that. In fact, I think that would be a dope niche. If you could find ways to flip what was an ordinary house or room or office, bathroom, and you can find ways to do it all under $100, but you could transform it. I personally, as a DIY person, whoever it is that watches HGTV and all of those channels, and that's an easy customer to target as well, to put yourself in front of. I would absolutely want to see what you have going on. You did this for less than $100? Less than $300? What stores did you shop at? What things do you recommend at that price point that can hold up over time? How did you make it look so good? Like, how long did it take you to be able to do that? You did it without schooling. That means me as an average person, I can do what you're doing. That makes you more relatable. That makes me want to rock with you more than I'm rocking with people that's been in the business for 50 years and then they can do it with a team of 60 people around them. So yes, to your point. And this is how everybody should be approaching their business. So, last thing I'm gonna say, guys, if it's a little bit of If you're having a little tech issues or something like that with the website, could be the traffic, could be anything. Go to info@7streamsacademy.com. Let us know. And even if we have hit capacity, we will make an exception for you. What's up, Lily? I didn't see it, Lily. Damn. Let's see, Lily, I'm scrolling up just for you, Lily. Hold on. Lily, the last 4 comments are you not saying your question. How can I help you? You put emojis, you put that, you've been here since 7:50, I appreciate you. I'm looking for your question. You put another emoji. Darn good for her. Lily, I'm 7 comments in and haven't seen the question. Copy and paste your question, Lily. This is for you. You put wow. I'm still not seeing your question, Lily. It's going on 11 o'clock here. I want to help you out, but you got to help me out helping you out. How do you find your niche? Honestly, Renee, again, it's the same process as finding anything else. Okay, let's go back. Y'all didn't hear my first question. I got to go back and answer the first one that I missed. Renee asked, how do you find your niche? Renee, it's the exact same thing. You don't know your niche. You don't know what your niche is initially, very rarely, unless you're like Beyonce and you just already have this world-class talent, this thing that's already been identified and a minimal viable product to go with it. You don't know what your niche is just yet. So you start somewhere, right? You start at the thing that you're intrigued with. You start looking around in that market, get more familiar with what's going on. Where's the opportunity at within the thing that you're just intrigued with? Start with what you're intrigued with. There's been something that has stuck out to you in terms of business, in terms of women entrepreneurs, men entrepreneurs, whoever it is that you identify with. There's somebody doing something that has sparked your curiosity so far. Start there. That's the thing that more than likely you would, I guess, be willing to develop yourself in as time goes on. You know, to put in the time, put in the work to actually grow a following, to develop a relationship with the tribe. It will be there wherever you're at least curious. As you do that, you're going to gain information. And then from that information, you can pivot a little bit closer to what actually will be your niche at the end of the day. Very rarely do we, again, I started off as a relationship blogger. I don't even think that's a profession for real, for real. Then I went to fiction novels. A Cheating Man's Heart and A Cheating Man's Heart 2, fiction novels. I went to fiction novels. Now I'm doing self-help books. I know it's a book, but it's completely different from developing characters, plot twists, humor, keeping voices consistent. Completely different. My niche developed over the years. Not just self-help books, card games. So I would say, start with what you're curious about and then go from there. Now let's look. Hold on. Everybody going dead around this thing. Still having issues. Okay, Steph, thank you. I'm going to look at it. Look for my moderators in here. Look in the info@7streamsacademy email for Stephanie's email so we can make sure she's taken care of. We got you, Steph. We got you. Yes, Mira, we're about to get it popping. Patents and copyright. So first off, it depends where you're at. Thank you, Stephanie. Depends where you're at in your business, whether or not I would recommend you getting a patent or copyright. If you are trying to make an invention, first off, when you're talking about a patent, you're usually patenting a technology. You're patenting something like that has never been done, never been touched before. A copyright is much more along the lines of a book, or you're copywriting the words to your logo. Actually, that would probably be trademark. There's a slight difference when you're talking about copyright and trademark. Trademark definitely costs a lot of money. You trademark your logos, right? You trademark something that you're going to be using for the length of your entire business. Your entire business is behind that. Copyright is typically like, you know, you wrote a cool joke. I don't know, you came up with a concept in a video. You copyright something like that. I wouldn't recommend doing a copyright, patent, or trademark before you find out whether or not this is a minimal viable product. Now, the patent's a little bit different because if you bring that, whatever it is, to somebody who has the resources, they may actually go ahead and steal that idea. But when it comes to copywriting and trademarking, that happens a lot less often with things that haven't already started taking off. And too many times people want to cover that legal ground, so they go in $800 on the trademark, $1,000 on the trademark lawyer, and they can't even get $100 in sales. I say establish some level of income, then use that income to go and get a copyright or a trademark. Copyrights are useful, but again, for movies, for intellectual property like that. Trademarks more so for the logo and stuff. And first use, in America, first use typically will hold precedence in court. Let me go here. Songs also. Songs are a good thing to copyright, but again, it's just hard for me to advise somebody who has a limited funds to go in and start investing in all these other things that shouldn't really come first. I just would say before you get rolling too fast, that's whenever you come back and say, let me cover my ground legally. Graduated from UCLA in 3 days with my bachelor's. Can I still be starting a business when I have nothing established? JJ, absolutely. Congratulations first off on completing college. I did as well. But can you start a business when you have nothing established? Yes. How you start a business when you have nothing established? You start providing value. If you are able to be in my comment section right now, you have everything you need to start providing value. We talk about this on 7 Streams Academy as well. We talk about this on 7 Streams Academy as well. Amber, please send me an email. I don't know what's going on. We tested that thing right before. But Amber, yeah, definitely let me know. I see you, Amber. I see you, Amber. Tricia Daniel says, it's selling a tangible product. You make homemade dog food. When does packaging and labeling become important? Well, what's important to dog food consumers and buyers? I would say you don't want to go around saying, hey, I got something for your cherished pup, the love of your life, the dog that you consider to be like a child to you, and you handing it to him in a hefty bag, Ziploc bag. But the thing that I don't want you to do is to put, what is it, cart before the horse, horse before the cart? I don't want you to concentrate on all these aesthetics when you haven't established that there's real value there. People do that with websites. They go and get a $500, $1,000 website designer and all of this other stuff, and then they got to redo it because the product that they're trying to sell doesn't really hold up in the market. So if you have already established that people love your dog food, people love it. Not only do they love it, the dogs are healthier because of it. There's real potential here. That's whenever you start going to a package designer or a graphic designer. They'll tell you what they need in order to develop your products. I'm pretty sure if you even start Googling or even hitting up people who are in that market, in that space, you'll find out where they go to get their stuff printed up. Who do they go to? It has specific specs. The graphic designer will help you from there. Only after you establish that this is something that is valuable. Shelly, let me see. I see you, Shelly. Which is better for Facebook ads, promote or boost post? Definitely going through the Facebook ads manager. I think it used to be called the power manager. Facebook ads manager. It's like boosting the post, but on steroids. Boosting the post, they still haven't updated it to be as optimized as the Facebook ads manager. Only thing is, Facebook ads manager is something that you can only use on your laptop, at least in terms of it being optimized. So they put the boost post there so that more people, as soon as they post something, just click on the boost post to send it to more people. I really don't advise you to do that at all. Go through Ads Manager. All right, so we're gonna go and get up out of here, guys. Love y'all. Thank you guys for hanging with your boy. Hope you got something of value out of it. If you're here for the last 2, almost 3 hours now, I would suspect that you did, but definitely let me know. Hit me up in my DM, contact me. I may or may not respond, but I see just about everything that comes my way. For all my new 7 streamers, I will see you all on the very next live chat. Actually, you will begin hearing from me the moment that you get app access. Look for that email that tells you, hey, this is the credentials in order to get app access. If you go through the app store, you're going to end up paying for it again. Don't want you to pay for it again. We'll give you access. Look out for the email. It usually takes a couple of hours, takes a little minute to get processed. So For those of you who just tuned in and you just enjoyed the free live financial freedom blueprint training, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to pour into you. Man, take this and go and flourish. To all my 7 streamers, we just getting started. So that's going to be it for me. Love y'all. Get some rest. Be good. Signing out. Peace.